When I was 14, I watched an Exerbia video that recounts a relationship from its beginning to its end, with the narrator repeatedly repeating the mantra that nothing can ever ruin this. Of course, something does. But at the end of the video, the narrator gets into another relationship, and in that relationship, he starts repeating the same mantra: nothing can ever ruin this. I don't think I understood at the time when I was 14, but I think at 23 I have a bit of a better grasp on it. Everything ends one way or another, and it's not great to focus on the inevitable end of things. Personally, I haven't had great success in relationships recently, but even if when I know that they're not the one, if that even exists, I've been trying to make the most of the time that I get to spend with them. Leave them with the most knowledge gained, the most experiences shared, things like that. I think there's something beautiful about relationships, platonic and romantic ones. Someone on Subway Takes said that we should treat our romantic relationships more like our platonic ones, and our platonic relationships more like our romantic ones. And I think that's so true. Things end, relationships end, jobs and roles end, lives end. But the end doesn't define what they were. If we choose to focus on the experiences themselves, the relationships themselves, and the people themselves, we can find so many beautiful things within them. The way they made you absolutely belly laugh off of a joke that only two of you got, how you thought you couldn't perform in a role, but you ended up being able to. Or how someone stood up for you when they didn't have to, but they knew how it felt to be in that position. If those people or those opportunities leave your life for whatever reason, you'll still have those memories of them, and those won't go until you do. If something ends, it doesn't mean it was a waste of your time. Time spent in good company wasn't time wasted, and time spent learning wasn't time wasted. Maybe things didn't go the way you wanted with somebody. You can choose to sit there and lament and ponder about all the things you could have done differently or said differently that might have made them stay. If those things exist at all, I'm not so sure they do. If you could find those words and become that person, would you still be yourself? Would that person want you for you, or for a version that you created for them? If you could find those words and become that person, would you still be yourself? Would they want you, or would they want a version of you that you created for them? That's not to say that you shouldn't try to change or learn from those experiences. I think you'll learn a lot more about who you are and what you want out of relationships from experiencing them rather than watching videos like this one. You'll learn more about yourself and your character flaws and what you need to improve on. To be clear as well, I'm not saying that you should stay with someone if they're actively harming your emotional or mental well-being. If that's the case, absolutely you should leave. There's a quote from Robin Williams that goes, "I used to think that the worst thing was to end up alone. It's not. The worst thing is to end up with someone that makes you feel alone." If someone makes you feel that way, there's far more to be lost than gained by staying in a relationship with them. I don't want it to seem like I'm telling you to force yourself through something that you don't want to force yourself through. Instead, I mean to say that you should try to be present with the people that you're choosing to spend time with. But maybe you think differently. Maybe you think it's better to end things quickly than try to get the most out of them. I've had friends talk to me about their relationships, and I've had relationships where there were fundamental disconnects between values, whether they be religious or aspirational. But I personally feel that even in these relationships, there are things that you can learn about the world, life, and yourself from the other person. You can learn so much about other perspectives by trying to make the most of the time you share with somebody, even if they're not the one for you. Maybe you disagree entirely, though, and that's completely fine. I'd love to hear your opinion in the comments. Maybe you'll be able to teach me something. I hope some of this resonated with you. If you didn't already get the feeling, this is a bit of a message to myself more than anything else, but I hope that it resonated with you too. Thanks for listening.